Connor McDavid gets his 8th of the year. And we talked about you create your own luck, you create your own bounces. Vasily Podkolzin, he's on the half wall. There's really seemingly not a dangerous play to be made. And sometimes the best play is just to throw it on net and see what happens. And that's exactly what Podkolzin did. McDavid picks up the puck on the rebound, slams it home. Kay Swisher is in with a comment in the chat. Pod had a great game IQ, makes smart plays, and he works hard. 100%. What I liked about Podkolzin last night is there was really not a lot of flash. There was just hard work and simple plays. And quite honestly, that's all you need with Connor and Leon. And I do think sometimes guys get moved up to that line. And we talked about it a little bit with Ennis a few weeks ago, and maybe we'll talk to him about it again. But like, guys can get intimidated going up there. And I give Podkolzin full credit for not changing his game and just going out there and saying, hey, I need to be a complimentary piece. And that's exactly what he was. He played his role to a T is kind of my point.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's interesting because not that long ago, he was the guy who people were probably intimidated to play with.
Yeah, and
coming
junior
into
and
the
whatnot.
league and like the way he came through and everything. But I think you got to give him a lot of credit. I know these last couple of shows we've maybe spoke about him being like, should he come down? Like he doesn't have any.
How long do you run with a guy who's not producing? Even if he's doing all the perimeter things well, the core of being a top 6 winger
gotta score.
Is scoring goals and producing offense. He wasn't doing that.
No, but he's found a way, and to his credit, I can't remember the last player who had no goals and was able to like linger around the top 6 for so long, just based purely off work ethic and actually being able to create chances for other people based off that work ethic. And it's clear, like Naeem said, like Draisaitl loves to play with him. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
So credit to him. Podkolzin's been awesome. I honestly thought he had that Nuge goal. I thought that was him.
That would have been nice.
I can't wait till he scores.
McPodandry, change up the name. I like that. Even if we need to split up McDry, do you think Podkolzin's better with 97 or 29?
Ooh.
I think he's better with 29. They have a bit more of a defensive acumen in that group. And I think Jeff Skinner's got to be the guy you give some runway to with McDavid.
It's an interesting question, though, because we haven't really seen him with McDavid. So I think the answer is Dry, but he did really well yesterday. Really
His
well.
favor. The top line absolutely dominated last night. I'm pulling up those numbers here over courtesy of Natural Stat Trick. 11-13 time on ice at 5-on-5 for McDavid, Draisaitl, and Podkolzin. Shot attempts 15-6. Actual shots 8-3. Goals were 2-0. Give me more of that.
Victory.
You keep that trio together tomorrow? Home ice, last change?
It depends on Hyman. I would assume Hyman's back, but he didn't play in the third.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play, then no, I wouldn't know.
I agree with that because I think you need a driver somewhere. The new Hyman Skinner trio got absolutely caved at 5v5. They didn't start a lot in the ozone, which I know is always a contributing factor, but they weren't great.
I think they've played together a few times this year. They're not a good trio.
See, and that's not the way I would do it either. Again, Arvidsson out throws such a wrinkle in things here. I would have Connor Brown, I think, up there with Hyman and Nuge. I think that's a bit more of a worker B line, and maybe I'd throw Skinner with Janmark and Henrique. Even that makes me a little bit uneasy.
But then who are you playing with the first line, sorry?
Keeping it the same.
Oh, you're not moving Dry.
I liked that Skinner, Henrique, Brown line for a while, actually. Maybe you just give them some runway and throw Janmark up with Hyman and Nuge.
They did well.
Yeah.
That trio of Skinner, Henrique, and Brown. I just think with that line too, you've just got to know what they are. They're not going to show up every night. They're your third line at the end of the day. They're going to have good games and bad games. But I think they had moments where it was solid. That third line, last night had a pretty good game. I like what Jeff Skinner can be, but he really just feels like the guy you just throw around the lineup and see where he sticks. Which I don't like, to be honest. But.
Yeah, see, and I think with him and his kind of skill set, I want to see him develop chemistry with someone. I want to see him go with one of the Oilers' super smart centermen and see if that guy can learn how to properly utilize Jeff Skinner. I know that sounds weird, being like, why should McDavid have to learn with Jeff Skinner? But Connor McDavid is a genius. Yeah. He's the smartest player in the NHL. Maybe Sidney Crosby's smarter, but Connor McDavid's playmaking ability is second to none in the league. Give him Jeff Skinner. Say, we're going to give you guys 5 games. Connor, see what you can do here.
Yeah.
I do think Jeff Skinner, I don't think he's a play driver. I think he can be a facilitator. I think he can be a playmaker, a guy who makes things happen, but I don't think he's a guy who can be the focal point offensively on a line. He's a really, really good complementary piece. So put a really, really good complementary piece with your number one driver and see what happens. I would really like to see a long-term run here with Skinner and McDavid, but coming off the game and the performance they had, I see no reason to break up the top line.